Just beyond the tree line, where the gravel roads of Jump-Off slope eastward and the Cumberland Cliffs fall into mist, another world begins. A few winding miles away lies Sewanee, home to the University of the South, a bastion of high church liturgy, Episcopal tradition, and Southern aristocratic memory. Its spires rise out of the mountain fog like some medieval fortress cloaked in stone and Latin. It is the very opposite of Jump-Off Baptist Church in almost every aspect. And yet, these two worlds, one rural and Baptist, the other Gothic and Episcopal, exist in uneasy proximity, bound not by creed but by geography. Founded in 1857 by Episcopal clergy and Southern planters, the University of the South was imagined as a Southern Oxford, a place to mold the sons of gentlemen in the image of Christian civility and Confederate memory. It was to be both an intellectual lighthouse and a stronghold of the antebellum Southern worldview. Though the Civil War disrupted its founding and devastated its backers, the dream was revived post-bellum, and by the 1870s the university began to grow. Its centerpiece was All Saints Chapel, a magnificent Gothic structure that could have been plucked from England. Around it, sandstone dormitories, Latin inscriptions, and robed processions. Sewanee became a kind of Appalachian Cambridge, isolated, elite, and strangely timeless. Professors walked wooded trails in tweed coats. Seminarians debated liturgy beneath gargoyled arches. The cadence of Anglican chant drifted through the pine-scented air. It was a world far removed from the revivalist fire of Jump-Off Baptist. Despite their differences, the spiritual landscapes of Sewanee and Jump-Off are not entirely disconnected. They represent two poles of Southern Christianity, liturgical and populist, institutional and organic, Anglican and Baptist. The plateau itself forms a kind of theological borderland where robed priests and farmer preachers live within the same ecosystem, and over time, lines blurred more than some care to admit. By the mid-20th century, some professors and staff from Sewanee began purchasing land near Jump-Off, drawn by the solitude and beauty of the bluff. These outsiders were sometimes viewed with suspicion by locals, but just as often they found a strange kinship. After all, both groups cherished the land, valued silence, and held deeply to their respective understandings of the sacred. In potlucks and porch conversations, worldviews mingled. A Baptist might sell firewood to an Episcopalian. A Sewanee professor might attend a Jump-Off funeral. Slowly, even if not always warmly, these two cultures learned to coexist, bound more by proximity than agreement. At times, the tension between the two traditions flared. Where Jump-Off Baptists saw salvation in altar calls and immersion, Sewanee emphasized sacraments and mystery. Where Baptists decried liberal theology, Sewanee students explored critical scholarship and historical criticism. To some Jump-Off residents, the university represented an elite detachment, an intellectualism that didn't understand mountain pain. To some at Sewanee, the local churches represented a rigid literalism, a theology that failed to grapple with nuance. Yet, there was also quiet fascination. Episcopal students sometimes visited small Baptist services as part of fieldwork or curiosity. Baptist pastors occasionally attended Sewanee lectures, not always publicly, but with interest. There was a recognition, however grudging, that each held something the other lacked, a rigor of mind or a fervor of heart. By the 2000s, a new kind of blend began to emerge in the hills between Jump-Off and Sewanee, a patchwork of faith and folk, scholarship and survival. In Jump-Off, the hymns still rose from the wooden sanctuary. In Sewanee, the organ still echoed beneath stained glass. Between them, the woods kept their secrets, and the plateau kept its peace.